All right, let's talk a little bit about the election differences between the House and the Senate. So, Senate elections, you know this, it's a review from other units we've talked about. Basically, every state has two senators, regardless of the size of your state. That gives us 100 total members of the United States Senate. You see a map of Pennsylvania in the background, our two current senators, Senator John Fetterman in the bottom left, and Bob Casey in the upper right. So, the way Senate elections work is they're statewide, but they haven't always actually been elected. So originally, as per the actual original design of the Constitution, senators were basically appointed by state legislatures. So basically, the reps were always elected directly by the people, but the senators were appointed. And again, that was sort of intended by the founding fathers to like balance out the influence of like the people, where you're going to have the people representing, voting for representatives, and then the senators are just appointed. So they don't have that influence from the people. That changes in 1913 with the passage of the 17th Amendment, which basically allows senators to be directly elected. So now you basically have a situation where reps have always been elected by the people, still are, and the senators now, because of the 17th Amendment, have been elected directly by the people since 1913. And also, Senate elections are statewide. So basically, what that means is that if you're way out in the western part of the state or you're in the eastern part of the state, you have sort of the same candidates on the ballot. So in the last Senate election, John Fetterman running against Dr. Oz, it didn't matter if you were in Mercer County, way on the western part of the state, or Montgomery County, we're all voting for the same people. And then once elected, the senators represent the entire state, millions of people. All right. The House elections are a little bit different. So the House elections, obviously, the number of reps is based on the population size of your state. States with bigger populations have more representatives in the House of Rep. Our representative is Madeline Dean. So there's some changes with the House elections too. We used to elect the reps like our senators are elected now, like statewide. So everybody would be voting for the same people. But for a long time now, we've used what are called single member districts, where however many reps a state has, we basically carve that many districts. You see all the color and areas on the map, into the same number. So Pennsylvania currently has 17 representatives. So we basically have 17 different what we call districts. These are called single member districts. And basically, one representative is elected out of each of these districts. So the people in District 15 are voting for different representatives than us down in District 4 in Montgomery County. So the other difference is that up until 1929, the size of the House of Representatives continued to increase as the population size of the country increased. This basically ended in 1929, where we basically froze the House of Reps at 435. The consequences of freezing the House of Representatives at 435 people is that, as you can see, the number of people that each representative is representing has steadily increased throughout American history. The first reps back in the early 1700s or late 1700s were representing about 31,000 people. The current reps today, because the number was frozen at 435 in the House, and the population has continued to increase, are now representing about 761,000 people each. So if you think back to documents we read at the beginning of the year, like Brutus One, this sort of like backs up his argument. Is geez, even when each rep was repping 31,000 people, he thought that there was no way that a representative could know the wants and needs of all those people. What do you think now? Now that each rep is repping about 761,000 people.